pronunciation with you guys. Also pay a note or pay attention to these sounds over here. I already discussed last lecture. These are known as phonemes. These are what these are the symbols are known as phonemes. Okay, so pay attention to the phonemes because when you are if you're writing, let's say in a phonetic script, or you are trying to read a phonetic script, and let's say if you've noticed, you must have seen these symbols even on Wikipedia. If you are looking at
Yes, ma'am.
yeah, you must have noticed it, right? That there are like these random symbols at next to a word or something. So these are your phonemes. They help you understand how to exactly pronounce a word, right? So
It is
um,
mainly for the verbal communication we do.
I'm sorry.
It is mainly for the verbal communication, like the oral communication.
Exactly. It is for verbal or oral communication. More exactly, it is for spoken word communication. Yeah, because it is meant to improve your pronunciations when you are speaking. Right. You're more
Yes,
conscious
ma'am.
of yeah. You're more conscious of where to put more emphasis in a word, etc. Right. So we are currently though just focusing on like the very basics of phonetics. All right, let's start with that. Otherwise, we'll run out of time again. Yeah. Okay. So now we'll start the one after chores, the third one in this slide. Uh, this is the phoneme j. Okay, j. So just, judge, sage, and agency. So if you look at it in the judge, in the word judge, they have even emphasized upon the D and G in the middle, right? Because when you pronounce judge, you pronounce it with two J sounds, right? The first one, and after that the second one. So judge. So as I already mentioned, if you guys must have forgotten, phonetics is solely based on pronunciation. The letters you use does not matter. It doesn't matter if there is a silent letter, if it is this is that judge has a D, so you can't use a J phoneme.
Ma'am, it's totally connected with the what we pronounce the,
Yes,
like how we
exactly.
pronounce it.
Exactly. So when you're writing or reading in a phonetic script, pay attention to just the pronunciation of the word. The spelling of the word does not matter. Okay. So we'll just hear.
J, just, judge, sage, agency.
Okay, you guys heard the kind of emphasis that they put on the letter, on the
Yes,
phoneme,
ma'am.
the
Yes,
pronunciation of
ma'am.
the. Yeah. Okay. So now let's move on to more. Okay. So now we are moving on to more, what do we call it? Consonant sounds. We are done with the vowel sounds. So now we are focusing on the consonant sounds. Okay. So now we are discussing m, m. So m for mother, m for jammer, ham, and co. Okay. So how will the
Mm,
pronunciation?
mother, jammer, ham, comb.
Okay. So if you notice why comb is a part of this is because when you say the word comb, you don't really pronounce the B very distinctly. Ideally, okay, when you're saying the word comb, especially in a bit of an accent, as we discussed last class, accents are very subjective, so it's not a necessity. Like it's not like you can't pronounce with a b, but ideally, when you pronounce the word comb, you don't really pronounce the B very prominently. Okay, so usually
Ma'am,
in
even she didn't pronounce jammer as jammer, like she told jammer.
yeah, exactly. They don't pronounce it as with a very pronounced A, and also they won't pronounce jammer with like an R. So if you notice, it's not jammer. You don't hear the R sound, right? The pronunciation is jammer. The R is neglected, similar to comb. You don't pronounce it comb, you pronounce it comb, right? So the B sound isn't very prominent, which is why they have even highlighted the M in B. Okay. So moving on to no, no for night, no for no, and no for hen. Okay. So these are all words that have no sounds. Again, if you notice, no has a K, but because you pronounce it with a no, they have put it under
N.
this.
Night. No. Hen.
So night, no, hen. Okay. Then if anyone has any queries with the pronunciations, please let me know. Okay. All right. Now this is not no or go exactly. Wait a minute.
Ma'am, it's no.
It is no. Yeah. The way they pronounce no, I think I even gave this example last.
Ma'am, this is bit American pronunciation.
Yeah, it is a bit American, but I do feel that even the British accent also is similar to this
Yeah.
kind of different, but even they tend to pronounce things similarly. Um, but yeah, I think this is like as I said, if you are good with phonetics, it gives you a bit of a natural accent when you speak, because you pronounce things very specifically, so it tends to give you a natural lilt in your accent when you're talking. So when for example, as I told last class, that even I had a phonetics professor in college, and the way she spoke, she had a bit of a natural accent. I even gave an example of how she would say no. She would not say no. She would say no, So that was because she had that much knowledge of phonetics that she was very specific about the way she pronounced her words. Okay. So firstly, let's hear this out.
Sing. Sang. Sung.
So this is not no or go. This is a mixture of both of them. So something along the lines of ng. So how you pronounce sing, that ng sound at the end, that is what this pronunciation is for. That is what this phoneme is for. So sing, sang, sung, anything with an ng at the end, right? So it will be ng. Okay, understood how this is pronounced? Sing,
Yes, ma'am.
sang,
Yes, ma'am.
sung. Okay. Now, last one on this slide will be a her. So we have, okay, give me a moment. Okay, we have who, have, house. Okay, her sounds. So again, let's just hear it out.
Who. Have. House.
All right. All the phonemes and pronunciations on this slide is clear. Should I move on?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Now let's discuss law. These are all pretty straightforward, and to be honest, if you notice, even the phonemes, the what do we call it? The symbols for the phonemes aren't that different from the letter itself. So this should be like a bit more easier for you guys to retain in the first go. The other ones will take a bit more practice. Yeah. Okay. So the first one, L, L, loud, hallway, hello, frugal. Okay, L. So let's just
Ooh. Loud. Hallway. Hello. Frugal.
okay. Listen to the way they emphasize on certain words. So loud, hallway, hello. The L in hello is pronounced, right? Frugal. Okay. Now the second one, the R sound. So here is where unlike the other word that I told you, that there is no jammer, for example, the end of the r or the r at the end is not pronounced over there, or is not clearly distinct. These are all words that do have very distinct r pronunciations on them. Yeah. So read, write, arrow, drawer, right? Drawer. So
Ooh. Read. Write. Arrow. Drawer.
read, write, arrow, drawer. Okay. Um. All right. So
Ma'am, can you just repeat that once again?
sure. The R one.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Mm. Read, write, arrow, drawer.
Is that a bit more clear?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
All right. Now, let's talk about the third one. Now, I know that the third one, symbol wise, there's a J written over there, but the pronunciation here is more of a Y. Y. The way, the context in which Y is used, the letter Y, I mean, okay? So, Y. So, Y pronunciation. So, U. Now, can someone tell me why in onion they have highlighted I?
Ma'am, because that I O both the words give the sound of Y.
Exactly. The way the I and the O work together, it sounds more of a Y rather than a E or an I, right? So it sounds onion. If you hear yourself say onion, you'll notice that there is a Y in there, right? And also the same for hallelujah. So hallelujah's spelling has a J at the end, but it is pronounced as a Y. Hallelujah. Okay. So let's just hear that as well.
Y, you, onion, hallelujah.
Anyone needs a repeat of that, or should I move on?
Ma'am, that's fine. Like it was proper.
I'm sorry.
Ma'am, it was proper.
Proper. All right. Good. Okay. Now let's discuss the other ones. All right. So the one with the W. This one is more straightforward. The W of symbol does stand for a word only. The W word. So word. So what kind of verb? What? Quick, choir. Okay. Okay. So um here the word that we are talking about is kind of pronounced more with your teeth hitting your lower lip. Okay. Ver rather than a word. So, okay, I know that both of them sound similar over Zoom. But if you are pronouncing, let's say, a word with a word with V or in it, like the letter V, for example, violin. You pronounce violin by kind of making like your lips into a bit of a circle, violin. But when you're trying to pronounce something with a W sound, your lips will your teeth will tend to touch your lower lip like v. Okay, so it has more of an emphasis. A word which has the v of a V, that is like a violin, doesn't have that prominent of a v sound as much as a one with the W will have. So just like keep this distinction in mind. Okay, so here also if you notice it's what, quick, choir. All of these have a W sound kind of verb. Okay, so let's just listen to it.
W, what, quick, choir.
All right, everybody understood
Yes, ma'am.
the W sound? Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
all right. So now we will move on to your E sound. Okay, so this is again more in the wait a minute. Okay, yeah. So this is again more a bit in the what do we call it? Vowel kind of way, right? Vowel kind of direction. Okay, so let's just look into it. E. So this is E. It is the phoneme here used is a small I, not is a small I, and the pronunciation is E. So eagle, perceive, see, friendly. Okay. So let's just hear that as well.
E, eagle, perceive, see, friendly.
Okay. Now the one after that has a phoneme with a capital I there. So, but the difference between the two is everyone is aware of your basic Bara Khadi.
Yes, ma'am.
The difference between these two is the same difference between your choti e and badi e. It's
Ma'am, actually, the pronunciation is the same, but the words while writing we write it badi e and choti. That's all.
exactly. So the pronunciation difference between these two is the same difference between badi e and choti e. So the one which has eagle, perceive, see, they have longer pronunciations of e, right? You don't say see, you say see. Okay, it's a longer pronunciation of e, right? So that is like, you could equate it to your body e, how you pronounce your body e in a word. However, if you're looking into the next one, look, how do you pronounce sit, in, fringe, gym, lid? You pronounce these e sounds very quickly with a very short intervals, like how it's similar to how you pronounce choti e, right? So that is the same difference between the two, choti badi wala difference. Okay, that the one which has eagle, perceive, that is using the smaller I as a symbol, is your badi e pronunciation, and the one which is using the capital I as a symbol uses choti e pronunciations. Okay, so we'll just give this a listen as well.
Eh. Sit. Fringe. Gym. Lid.
Okay, so everyone understood the difference between these two e
Yes,
sounds?
ma'am.
Great.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now let's talk about the last one on this slide. E, e. Basically your e sounds, e as in letter e. Okay, e. So friend, left, berry. Okay, so
Eh. Friend. Left. Berry.
okay, the e sounds in a word, basically usually it is caused by an e in the middle, is your uh basically this phoneme. Okay, now let's quickly cover the other two slides as well. Let's look into the first one.
Ah. Mad. Laugh. Academic. Berry.
Now here is where the subjectivity of accents come in. Okay, the way we pronounce academics, we don't pronounce academics where in India we say academics, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Exactly. I was thinking that only.
Yeah, we say academic. So as I said, accents and pronunciations are a very subjective thing. So this is not like a rule that this is exactly how you should speak, but learning phonetics just in general gives you a guideline and makes you more conscious of how you speak and how cleanly you are able to pronounce and enunciate your words. It also helps you be more clear when you're talking to people. So it's not like if you say academics instead of academics, like one word, because of one word, people won't understand what you're saying. It's not like that. In India, we say academics. I think in the US, they say academics. So,
Yes, ma'am. It is
yeah, so
academics in
this
US.
yeah, so this is like one thing here which is different between our country and theirs. So but other than that, most of the pronunciations are pretty similar to ours. So it's like even so yeah, mad. So here the pronunciation they're trying to show is a, the a sound. Okay, a. So mad. Even in our accent, the way Indians speak English, you won't say laugh, we say laugh. R sound is more of an R sound in laugh, right? So these are like minor variations. It's not like it makes a huge difference. But yeah, it's something just to keep in mind if you're talking to somebody from a different country, you're working in a different country, then knowing these basic differences in accent also makes it easier for you to understand what they're saying. Yeah. So according to the example given here, let's say we don't discuss laugh and academics because according to our accents it doesn't come under the at sound, right? um but okay, mad is something that still we speak as mad, and vary. Vary. Okay, that's also something that we use with an as sound. Okay. Okay, so
Actually, ma'am, and like this vary is like pronounced as vary in Indian.
depends. It depends.
Yes, ma'am.
I personally do say vary. I personally use vary. But vary is also, I've heard people say vary. So it's not incorrect either. I personally use vary. So for me to say vary is more natural. But I've heard people say that, yeah, being wary of
Yes,
someone.
ma'am, because
Yeah.
they sometimes like they say it may vary from people, person to person.
Person to person, yeah, exactly. So in this example, I feel like, because I feel the way Indians speak English, we don't use in our English, we don't use the a sound as much. Like, we will use a more than a. Like, for example, laugh and academics, right?
Yes.
So the way Indians speak English is slightly different in that aspect. Okay, now let's look into this one as well.
Uh, about, haven't, honor.
All right. So this is a sound. A sound. About. Okay. Haven't. So if you notice, when you say haven't, you don't say e. You don't pronounce it as an e. It's more of an haven't, right? And honor. Again, honor is one of those words which is an example of the R at the end being silent. Honor. No one, and even the H at the beginning, actually. So no one says honor. Like, you don't pronounce the R very prominently. It's honor. So the first O is still pronounced as an O. It's O, not O exactly. It's more of an O. And the second O is pronounced more of an honor, right? So this is your sound. Now the third one is your U sound. Basically, wait a minute. Utter, mud, double. So just look into it. Let's just check it out.
Utter, mud, double.
Right? Utter, mud, double. Okay, everyone understood the U sound as well?
Ma'am, what
Yes.
did she pronounce for utter?
I'm sorry.
Ma'am, can you just repeat that once again?
Sure.
Uh, utter, mud, double.
Did you hear it?
Yes, ma'am, I got it.
All right, great. All right. Now again, same difference between these two sounds. Okay. So this one is more of a longer oo, oo, like a long oo. Okay, bada oo in Barakhadi. So this is more of a longer oo. So it is two. This is one is two, blue, maneuver. So this is not even a longer oo actually. Let me be more specific. It is more of an oo, but a bit of a lilt at the end. So it is more of an ooh rather than just a blatant, ooh. Like, I hope I'm making sense. It's very difficult to explain over a Zoom,
Yes, ma'am.
but I hope I'm making sense. So this is more of an ooh with an accent, to be very honest. Like, it's blue, rather than blue. That's it. It's like you just have to put in a bit of an effort into it, and it, like for example, how the word maneuver is spoken. Maneuver. That ooh, that it's not just a maneuver. It's maneuver. Okay, so
Actually,
the
ma'am,
way,
we say pronounce this word as blue, but it's blue.
yeah, exactly. So it's blue. So it is like ooh sound with a bit of a with a mild hint of a W sound attached to it. It's like two,
Yes, ma'am.
blue, maneuver, right? We'll also hear them say it once.
Ooh, two, blue,
Maneuver.
maneuver.
So it is ooh, but with a bit of an accent. To be very honest, just you can, like, a bit of a W lilt in it, and it'll sound like it's supposed to. Now the one after that. Firstly, let's hear this.
Uh, took, should,
So this is
pulpit,
more of a chota oo type sound, right? It's took, should, pulpit. It's more of a Nicole. Wait a minute. Let's just hear this because I think I misheard it.
took, should,
Pulpit. Huh. They
pulpit.
say okay. I pronounced it as pulpit. They pronounce it as pulpit. Okay. So took, should, pulpit. These are shorter oo. So it's not oo like the one above. It was two. Blue, maneuver. This one is more of a shorter oo. So it is oo, right? Took, should, and as they said, pulpit, right? Now let's look into this one. This is more of an aw sound. Okay. So what is an aw sound? Honest, saw, flaw, right? These are aw sound.
Ah, honest, saw, flaw.
Honest, saw, flaw. Okay. So this is kind of similar to the one we just said, which is honest, saw, and flaw. The only difference I think is it is again the same chota and bada wala sound ka difference, that this has a more shorter sound. You don't say frog, you say frog. You don't pronounce like the whole thing. You don't stretch it out, right? Same with so clock, sauce, frog. I'm sorry I couldn't find a audio aid for this one, so you'll just have to make do with me try pronouncing it for you. But this is also an aw sound, but a more shorter one. Clock. You don't say clock. You say clock. Sauce. Frog. But in contrast to that, you do put emphasis in honest, saw, and flaw. So you say honest, saw, flaw. If you notice, it's more stretched out, right? So these are that's the main difference between these two. Okay. Now let's look at this one. O sound. It's an O sound. O. So open, goat, flow. Why is the W also highlighted in flow? Why is the W also highlighted in flow?
Because it's make the O sound.
Yeah, it makes an O sound.
Mom, can you just repeat the question?
I'm asking in this flow, I'll highlight it for you. Why is the W also, put in bold?
Mom, actually, O and W both are making some or the other. Like over here, ma'am, after O, there is one more sign of like which indicates the sound. So, ma'am, this both the alphabets have the are like together with sounds and make a pronunciation.
They together are making the pronunciation, yes, because this O sound is also more of a stretched out O. Okay, so it is more of an open goat
Yes, ma'am.
flow, right? You don't shorten the O when you
Even in
say
the word tomorrow.
yes, in the word tomorrow. That's a good example. So even in the word tomorrow, you say, you stretch out the last O, right? Tomorrow.
Yes.
So these two letters come together to let the reader know that this word or this section of the word is meant to be a bit emphasized upon. And also W here is a silent word. No one says flow. Okay, no one pronounces flow like that. You pronounce flow. So in terms of if you're going to just write the word flow in phonetic language, the W will not come in that because you are not pronouncing it, right? We'll just look into this as well.
O, open, goat,
It's a more stretched out and
flow.
relaxed O. It's not an O, it's
Yes,
an O.
ma'am.
So it's an open, goat, flow. Okay. Now the last one on this. This is more of
And
an
ma'am, one more thing, like we pronounce here goat, but at like in US they pronounce as goat.
yes, Exactly, right. So these most of these phonemes and everything are obviously based on your US and UK pronunciations, because they are the most common form of, English speaking in general, right? Whenever you're looking into improving your accent or anything, if you've ever looked at, any of the classes or anything that are helping with English or English pronunciations, they sometimes do tend to have options. Do you want to learn UK English or American English? They have options for that, because those are the most common ones around the world and people usually go for that. There is no typical way, there's no Indian English way of pronouncing things. We pronounce the way we pronounce. So yeah, some things might differ in these examples from the way we do it. Definitely. So, just pick up whatever you know, that whatever you think is useful for you. All right. So lastly, this is more of an Asian. So this is more of an A sound. Okay, A. A with a bit of a Y sound
Stretching
at
A.
A. I'm sorry.
Stretching A.
Yeah, more of an A stretching, more A with a bit of a
Yeah,
Y sound
because
at the end.
over here the word name, like we say it name, but actual pronunciation of name is name.
Yeah, right. They pronounce it that way, right? Name. We call it, like, when we are speaking quickly, you will just ask that, oh, what's your name? But if you actually slow down, even in that casual way that you talk, if you slow down the way you say it, it naturally comes out as A. You just say it so fast that you probably don't notice it. But when you actually slow down and you try to hear yourself talk, it will itself like stretch out to name. So Asian, for example, Asian, name, fray, all of these have more highlighted A sounds. Yeah. um,
A. Asian. Name.
right. Asian,
Yes, ma'am.
Fray.
name, frame. Okay, fray, sorry. Now we are on to the last slide here. Okay, and we'll just quickly go through this and then we'll discuss email and we should be done. All right. First one is an ow sound. Ouch, shout, now. Okay, ow sound. So,
Ow. Ouch. Shout.
okay, ow,
Now.
ouch, shout, now. All
Mom, the
right.
best thing is whenever they pronounce the words starting from no, like no, they pronounce that now. And now, even like I noticed it for the word now, they are pronouncing it as now. So I was so
Yeah,
confused, like what is the pronunciation for both this word?
they tend to, okay, I will be the first person to admit that they tend to make English more complicated than it needs to be. um but having said that, I feel like the best way to know is that if you are if, let's say, the word is like that no that we said, KNOW wala no, which the end pronunciation, the end word is an OW. Usually when you have an OW in the picture, it's a bit more stretched out. The way they say it will be a bit more stretched out. But then again, no is something that you say that doesn't have a W at the end, but they still stretch it out. So, as I said, pretty subjective in nature. Pick up whatever you think you can learn from this, because as someone who's actually studied phonetics, I won't say that I use it on a day-to-day basis, but I do see a difference in the way I speak my words and the way how I speak and articulate words after I learned it in college. So in that way, it's a pretty useful skill to have. If someone hears you speak like that, it gives off a good impression, that yeah, this person knows how to pronounce or is very particular or whatever it is, right? All right. Now the second one, it is an I sound. I, the whole word I is basically just that. I, tidy, cry. It's an I sound. Okay. So,
I. I. Tidy.
right?
Cry.
Everyone understood the I sound?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so
Oi. Joy.
this is an
Buoyant.
oi sound. Oi. So it's more of a joy. So oi, right? Buoyant. So sounds which are more of an O and I together. So joy, buoyant. Even in the buoyant, it's O and I together in the middle, right? So it's joy and buoyant. Now, this is more of a ear sound. Okay. Firstly, let's hear how they have pronounced it.
Ear, here, beer,
This is an ear sound.
Weir.
So you can, I'm sure these are very basic words. You guys know how to pronounce it. So here, beer, weird, where they have used multiple spellings to show how, despite having different spellings, they have similar pronunciations. Yeah. Now, this is the above was an ear sound, and this is an air sound. So it's a more of an E with an R. So bear, chair, there. Okay.
air, bear, chair, there.
Okay. Everyone understood so far?
Yes.
Good.
Yes,
All right.
ma'am.
Okay. So now let's look into this. Look into this one. First, let's hear it.
Allure,
Okay.
tourist,
So again, here again comes a bit of a difference in the way we speak and they speak. So this is more under the this is more a mixture of you and R. So it's an allure. So your type. That is the word that we are focused. That is the part we are focusing on. Your. So allure is fine, but the way they say tourist, we say tourist and
allure,
tourist, so they
tourist,
pronounce it slightly differently than we do, but it's still pretty similar. But it does come under the mixture of U and R sound. So tourist, allure. Okay. Now, this one. This is an sound. This is a shorter sound. This is also U and a R mixture, but it's not as stretched out as the earlier one. This one is shorter. So curve, journey. You don't stretch these out as much. Okay.
earn, curb,
Yeah. So you
journey.
don't put that much emphasis on the here. You don't stretch it out as much. Yeah. That's the basic difference between most of them, that one is stretched out, one is not stretched out, very similar to your matras in your barakhadi. Yeah. All right. Now the second last one. This is now here also I think we might have a bit of a difference in terms of pronunciation.
or, more, war,
So this is more of
Oracle.
an or sound. This is more of an or sound. So in their accent, or is pronounced or. They might say it as or. We say it as or. In India, you say or, right? We don't say or. So in our accent, it comes more under or. But if I am to put an E over here, then it will be pronounced even by us as or. Okay. So or, more, war. Here also there's a difference in accent. We say war. We put more emphasis on the A over here. We say war. They don't put as much emphasis. So then it shortens to war. Okay, and then oracle. So the OR in oracle. Okay. Everyone understood this one as well?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
And last one, R sound. The sound is R. So what? Armor, car, farce. Okay. So
R, armor, car,
R sounds.
farce.
Here. So with this, we have done all our phonemes. We have around 10 to 15 minutes left.